Hello there, guys, and today we're here for the Days of Flesh retrospective. First off, their 95 EP Gradually Melted. And on drums, we have Joey Heeslet. And on bass and backing vocals, Jacoby Kingston. And on vocals and guitar, Eric Lindmark. And of course, the two songs I recommend you listen to would be Human Sandbags and Feelings of Metal for Flesh. Like I'd be mad. Come on, listen to it. Now their debut, easily their best one. Like, man, it's just a reminder, a remnant of the days right before it, of the bouncy New Yorker kind of style of death metal. Combined with the Blast Beast style of their own state of California, including Disgorge. And I mean, even the vocals sound like Disgorge too. Let's see the songs I recommend from this album, especially would be Acid Troops and Carnivorous Ways, and you quite a good bit hear me play in my videos. Hunting Humans and Impious Offerings. this being the first album I ever listened to by Deeds of Flesh, it would eventually lead me to listening to the previous album, mostly because of how much it reminded me of early Dying Fetus. And of course, and shortly before this album came out, Derek Boyer's Suffocation filled in Jacoby's role on bass. And for this album, on backing vocals, we don't have Jacoby, but instead, Maddie fucking Way on backing vocals. And this was shortly before the following year, along with the album after this, when the Scourge released their album, She Lay Godhead. But yeah, the songs I definitely recommend off this album, though it is definitely not really as good, or in that case, not really as strong as their previous album, or even the next three albums. But still worth a listen, being Canvas the Flesh, End of All, Rituals, A Battle. Now, this being around this time, of course, this same year, that's when Eric Lindmark started founding the major label, Unique Leader Records, that even bands such as Signs of the Swarms and even Acradia at one point are signed in, were or are signed into. And the songs I would definitely recommend would be the title track, less more indigenous to the appalling and violent god. And with this album, we have Mike Hamilton, the current drummer for Exhumed, and former drummer of Vital. And basically still having that sound carried on from the previous album. Though of course the two songs recommended off this album would be the title track and Cleansed by Fire. and the next one being the last of all their good albums. Man, I'm gonna cry at the end. Anyway, I definitely recommend the first half, including the title track, Reduced to Ashes, Infested Beneath the Earth, Avowed Depraved, and Empyrean. And with Empyrean, it definitely at first sounds a bit more old school, of course, with Suffocation. Yes. Of course, this being the last album with Jacoby Kingston on bass. And also with this album being the only official music video they've ever made besides Cleanse by Fire. That definitely isn't them performing at some concert. And of course, with this album, I also recommend the title track. But also I recommend Medical Murder and Hammered Forged Blade. Now with this album, this is when they purely went to become purely tech death, whereas compared to their first two albums being purely brutal death metal. Especially when considering how with the second album you have the guy who layered for Pathology and it was currently the frontman of Abominable Putridity of all bands, making a guest appearance on that. And of course now, the previous year, Jacoby is no longer on bass. And I mean, yeah, who cares about the bass? Instead, you have Erland Kasperson of Spawn of Possession. I guess overall this album is meh. Typical tech diff wakery. Then all those poser hipster dipshits, like let's see, Metal Cucks, Metal Cuck Jackson, and Blobbermouth, among a bunch of other people not worth mentioning, would eat up. Bleh. I mean, yeah, with Dying Fetus. But at least some elements from their older style with their album with Wrong Ones as Fuck with still remains. And that sounds very reminiscent of War of Attrition. Some of the riffs off from there. So at least it feels nostalgic. But yeah, I guess there is Waters of Space and Vervum, I guess. We're finally there at the end. Sorry. Okay. Of course, with this album, shortly after it was released 3 years later, of course, Mike Hamilton would then leave the band to, of course, and would later become the new drummer for Exhumed, which he still is to this day, and would be replaced by Darren Kaska, and also and this is also when Craig Peters started to come in. And then later on, 5 years later, Eric Lindmark dies of sclerosis at the age of only 46. Only shortly before that, because of his battle with cancer that had been going on for some time, it gotten so bad to the point that he was unable to play guitar anymore and only able to sing. Which definitely does explain why it seems their music over time, as we went along through this video, always seems to have gotten worse. And all because of it. Well, at least thank goodness he died. Though, just around the time when their music was starting to become mediocre. Which this album is. More typical tech death wankery. We'll never forget you, Harry.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
In conclusion, though, the last two albums were a big letdown, and though they probably aren't gonna get back together again anytime soon, or release a new album ever again anytime soon, I'm very doubtful of that, because I figure without Eric Lindmark to keep the band together, the other members would be lost without him, and I'm pretty sure they would have no clue whatsoever what to do without him. And despite what Craig says in the comments section for one of his videos, replied to one commenter, I doubt a new album would happen, but still, besides the last two albums, basically everything before of what's to come, I do really recommend you listen to anyway, as I clearly stated. And really, how even then, at worst, their music seems to have been really mediocre, or 5 out of 10 at worst. Well, anyway, I had fun once again doing this, but anyway, here's some song for you to refresh your mind. Bye-bye.